Hey there, Sean here. In case you haven't heard, my book, One Drop of Poison How One Bad Leader Can Slowly Kill Your Company, is now available. And in the book, I break toxic leadership behavior down into 10 archetypes. So I'm going to briefly introduce you to them in this video, and then I'll make a more detailed video about each one over the coming weeks. Let's get started. All right, before we start, I want to give this standard disclaimer. Most toxic leaders are not waking up every day, rubbing their hands together and plotting how to destroy their teams. They're just doing what they think is the right thing for the company with the goals and incentives they have and the culture they're operating in. So that means that these behaviors can be present even in well-intentioned leaders. I hope this makes it easier for you to admit if you fit into one or more of these archetypes. I can promise you this, if you have disengaged or demoralized teams, somewhere above them, either you or someone above you, is behaving in one of these toxic ways. I love this quote from Matt Wyatt, founder of Chapman and Company Leadership Institute. He says, "There's no such thing as an underperforming team, only underperforming leaders. Look for the problem in concentric circles around your desk." Now, there are a couple of the archetypes that really are tough to get out of without help. A therapist and a coach are great resources in these cases, and I'll point them out as we discuss the archetypes in the detailed videos. Okay, so with that out of the way, let me introduce you quickly to the 10 archetypes. The Chessmaster. Working for a Chessmaster feels very disempowering. Like you're a child working for a parent who always knows best. Chessmasters believe leadership is a privilege they earned and you didn't. Their permission gives them not just authority over you, but must, in their mind at least, mean at some level they're smarter or more capable than you. That means they make important decisions without consulting you or the team, and then they drop them on you. New policies and procedures are conjured up away from the team, and then they reveal it to the team, and they're often quite surprised at the pushback they receive. Chessmasters think they were promoted because they have all the answers, and their teams are only there to be the hands to execute on their brilliant plans. The Peacock and the Ladder Climber. I'm covering these two together because they are only different in a single but important way, and that difference changes almost everything about the kind of toxicity their organizations suffer from. The Peacock is on a never-ending quest to climb the organization, and they do that by strutting their stuff to their leaders. Their teams exist merely to make the Peacock look good. Anyone on the team who disagrees with the Peacock is viewed as disloyal and gets a target on their back. Peacocks don't care about solving problems for the team. They care about bragging to their bosses about the times their teams solved problems, while hoping they think it all happened because of their brilliant leadership. Ladder climbers are just like peacocks, except way more transparent about their intentions. They tell everyone who will listen that they should be promoted and that their job is beneath them and they can't believe how unfair it is. They usually want a checklist from their leaders about what they have to do to be promoted, and they cause a lot of uncomfortable situations because everyone to their side and below has the potential to have their skulls used as a rung on these people's ladders. The Micromanager. Micromanagers are usually perfectionists with trust issues. They don't think anyone has a work ethic but them, and this is especially true of people who do substandard work, which is everyone. So they believe that if you want something that someone else is going to do done right, you just have to harp on them and hover over them like a helicopter. Speaking of helicopters, micromanagers are usually helicopter parents too because, well, trust issues are trust issues. The Invertebrate. Invertebrates are everyone's friend and no one's leader. They avoid conflict like I avoid parades. I hate parades. Invertebrates believe that problems on the team will solve themselves, and if you're unlucky enough to have an invertebrate leader and a brilliant asshole on your team, things will probably be pretty rough for you. Invertebrates often tell themselves that they are empowering their teams, but the teams usually look over and find the leader with their head buried deeply in the sand. That's not empowerment. So close, but so far. The Drill Sergeant. Drill sergeants can appear in two forms, the yeller and the process follower. Yellers scream first and ask questions later. This one doesn't need much explanation, probably. These types believe that people they are in charge of are always trying to get away with not working, and wouldn't be able to tie their own shoes if they weren't yelled at properly first. They have short tempers, short fuses, and short lives because of their blood pressure. There's usually a bulging vein around their temples, and they probably didn't get enough hugs as kids. Process follower drill sergeants are by the books. They've never met a problem that can't be solved with another process. Deviating from process is not allowed. Agilists have a value about adapting to change over following a plan. Drill sergeants always follow the plan. Always. The data freak. The data freak has trust issues and sees the world like f***ing Neo from the Matrix. They believe every action, every complex facet of humanity can be measured and that the data infallibly points the way. They don't get out of bed unless the data tells them it's the right thing to do. They massively overestimate their ability to measure what matters and underestimate the effort required to get the data. They'll spend $100 to find out if they can save $50 by taking a different path. It's incredibly difficult to innovate if you work for a data freak because you basically need to prove that what you want to try will work before they'll let you try it. While this seems like a defensible position, it's probably better to remember this quote from Peter Singh, the author of The Fifth Discipline. In the long run, the only sustainable source of competitive advantage is your organization's ability to learn faster than your competition. You learn fast with quick, short experiments, not pre-proven giant projects. Lots more to say about data freaks. Watch the detailed video on this one. The bottomliner. Like the data freak, the bottomliner is obsessed with numbers, but the bottomliner focuses on one number in particular, the bottom line. Bottomliners reduce everything and everyone into either a hit to the bottom line or a contributor to growing it. Employees of bottomliners feel like they're less important than the bottom line, which is absolutely true, and they withhold their productivity because of it. I mean, why break your back for someone who doesn't have your best interest in mind? Bottomliners can excuse all kinds of bad outcomes for employees as long as they get their shiny piece of gold in the end. The squirrel. The squirrel is a leader who moves and thinks so fast that no one can keep up.
It never ends!
Whoa! Hey!
It never ends that way, too.
They breeze through topics that require much more in-depth conversation, and they usually don't have any idea what people mean when they say they don't feel heard. Squirrels have other trees in the forest to visit. They don't have time to listen to you until you feel heard. They're impatient with the speed that the rest of the planet moves at and often leave organizations in disarray with batons on the ground all over the place. They often practice a behavior that's very toxic that I call seagull leadership. Sorry for the mixed metaphor. It'll make more sense in a minute. Squirrels will run off somewhere else, leaving teams to feel temporarily empowered. So they begin innovating and thinking and working on problems. And then suddenly the squirrel will fly in, shit on everything the team's been doing, and then fly off again. Teams quickly learn not to move until the squirrel approves. No one wants to waste their time, and suddenly approval gates start appearing all over the place. The squirrel is often frustrated by how the team seem to stop and wait for their approval and don't realize it's a behavior they taught them. Finally, we have the graveyard whistler. Graveyard whistlers believe that leaders are supposed to be strong and positive, so they ignore, gloss over, or minimize anything negative and instead focus on the positive. And while no one wants to be led by Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh,
End of the road. Nothing to do. And no hope of things getting better.
there is a line between swimming in negativity and acknowledging it to respond to it. Graveyard whistlers seem so uncomfortable with negativity that they just pretend that it isn't there. That drives disconnection from their employees. No one wants to be standing in a pile of shit being told by a graveyard whistler to ignore the smell and focus on the pretty roses outside. A leader would say, I see it, I smell it, we're strong and we're getting out of this, let's do this. Okay, that's the 10. In the coming weeks, I'll be recording short videos for each of these toxic leadership archetypes. I hope you'll find these videos helpful, and if you can't wait for the videos or you just want some impactful information about how to be a great leader that people want to follow, check out my book. The The link is in the description below. Thanks for watching.